Honestly, I still don't know if this was a ghost story or just my imagination playing tricks on me. But even now, when I go out of my way to avoid that path, I have to believe something really happened. It was the spring of 2021. I lived in a small town, Wisconsin. Back then, I worked remotely as a freelancer, and whenever I felt restless, I would take a walk alone at night. There was a bar I visited often. It was a typical local spot. My little routine was buying a Crunch Wrap and a cherry Dr. Pepper there, then walking home. The bar was about a 25-minute walk from my place. The last 10 minutes of the walk took me down a narrow alley called P Street. I won't say full name just in case there's any confusion. Most people didn't pay much attention to that alley, and honestly, neither did I at first. But sometime in mid-April, every time I walked through P Street, I started feeling something. Hard to explain in words, a strange sensation. That night, I was walking as usual. The air was cold, the sky was clear. But the moment I stepped into P Street, I thought, what is this? Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. My breath felt heavier, and the skin on my face felt slightly damp. The strange thing was, this feeling was only inside that alley. As soon as I stepped into P Street, it seemed like the temperature dropped a bit. A few days later, I noticed something odd about the plants there. Everywhere else in town, the ground was still muddy, and the grass was dead, grayish-brown and matted down from the melted snow. But not on P Street. There, the grass was alive. Not just alive, thriving. And the color, it wasn't the soft green of new spring growth. It was a pale, grayish green, dry-looking, almost brittle, like it had been preserved somehow, untouched by the cold, unaffected by the season. The smell was stronger there, too. A heavy, earthy scent that made my chest tighten, like the air itself was different. I only realized how strange it was after leaving the alley. A few days later, I noticed the street lights were off. Normally, the old street lamps would line up and light the way, but that night, only 2 flickered, and the rest were completely dark. I just passed by as usual. Some might have thought, why does that person always walk that way? But it was the fastest route home. However, I soon realized it wasn't just the air or the light that felt off. The strange feeling turned into footsteps. It was around the 6th time I walked down P Street. I thought I could hear my footsteps, but slightly overlapped. It was my own footsteps, but out of sync by just a bit, following me at the same pace, a short distance behind. At first, I thought it was my imagination. Maybe the headphone cord was moving, or the ground was echoing oddly. But as it kept happening, it started to get on my nerves. Then, a few days later, I definitely heard 2 sets of footsteps. Every time my foot hit the ground, there was another sound, like bare feet softly brushing against the pavement. That sound exactly matched the rhythm of my own steps. That night, I was sure of one thing. There's someone behind me. I stopped dead in my tracks and quickly looked back. There was no one there, only silence and the dim glow of the streetlights. But then, right where I had stopped, there were wet footprints, bare feet, both left and right, pressed into the ground, and the footprints ended exactly where I stood. That was even more terrifying. I didn't know where they started, but they came right up to me and no further. I think I was frozen there for a few seconds. My body stiffened, my heart pounded, and I couldn't hear a sound. In the end, without looking back again, I just ran. I had no idea if something was following me or or if my feet even hit the ground properly, but at that moment, I only thought about one thing: survival. After seeing those footprints, I ran all the way home. That night, I stayed awake with all the lights on, listening to hymns, unable to close my eyes. Since then, I started avoiding that path altogether. Some might laugh and say it's just my imagination, or that I was tired or stressed that night. But the strange thing is, after I began taking other routes, I never felt that eerie sensation again. That heavy, damp air in the alley, the foggy haze, and those wet footprints. Looking back now, maybe something was walking with me, only in that alley. Why it was there, I still don't know.